So in this video, I'm going to talk about the impossible timeline. You see a lot of companies I talk to, they want results fast, and I get that. The problem is agencies are not telling you that this is going to take months, if not years. I cross path with a lot of companies that hired agencies. They hired salespeople internally, SDRs, inexperienced ones, experienced ones. And I keep hearing the same thing that they've been burned before. It's actually a dirty little secret that most agencies don't want you to know. Because if you knew, they probably wouldn't sign you on as a client. They're just going to spin your wheel thinking that every provider is incompetent, every salesperson isn't worth the salary you pay them, and you're just going to chase your own tail, not making any progress. You might question your product, you might question your market, you might think that maybe one more feature, one more thing is going to help your company. You probably have a deeper problem that is fixing, but it's one that nobody is really working on. If you want your outbound program to work, you need to think the same timeline as inbound. You need to think about upfront investment. And the only advantage of outbound is to get market feedback faster. You can reach people in a matter of minutes, but are you saying the right things? Are you targeting the right verticals? Are you handling the objections and questions the right way? It's the skills of the people, it's the foundations of your go-to-market. Too many companies think that it's going to take 2 weeks and they can close deals within 2 months, and it's just not the case. I'm going to go over the right expectations to have for your business. One of the first questions I get asked is, how many meetings can you get me per month? And if you have absolutely no meetings, no one can forecast that without working in your environment. You're going to meet a lot of providers, a lot of agencies. They're going to tell you, I can get you 5 meetings guaranteed. I can get you 10 meetings guaranteed, but there's absolutely no guarantees, especially if you're going after qualified meetings and not just bodies sitting on Zoom calls, right? If you're serious about the quality of the meetings and you actually want to build pipeline that will turn into revenue, there's no form of guarantee that can be provided. This is just a loser's game where you're going to set an expectation that's just not going to happen. And the provider is going to get frustrated, and what could have been a very good long-term relationship is going to be played out in the first 2 or 3 weeks, right? And that's just not a good place to be. Your product positioning versus your competitors, your logo, your font, your branding, everything that makes you win deals matter in the prospecting stage. Nobody, even someone coming from your direct competitor, can just replicate a play that's going to work exactly the same for your company. Your pricing relative to alternative might be different. Your company reputation in the market and brand awareness might be different. The current economic conditions affecting your buyers might be different. And these are all things that the salespeople, the agency can't control. You can't add Salesforce numbers and then expect the same. Salesforce is decades and billions of dollars spent on brand awareness, outbound to perfect these things. If you are a startup, a scale-up, or an enterprise who is looking to start outbound or to accelerate it, you can't compare it, but calculate more in 9 to 12 months, if not 18 months. You're not going to get there. 3 months, you're going to cut an initiative that's going to yield results in the long term. So what can you control? The first thing is the methodology, who you're targeting, why you're targeting those, what you're saying to them, how you're prospecting, are you leading with problems, are you leading with solutions, how you're engaging the market. That kind of doesn't change across the board, and this is a constant that you can lean on. The other thing is you can establish your baseline within 30 to 60 days. If your outbound is in its state of infancy, focus on getting the first qualified meetings, making sure they turn into opportunities. If not, make changes to the approach. Is an iterative process until revenue starts flowing. Reimbursing your investment. When you should expect results. In my experience, from our numbers at our agency, there are meetings that are being booked after 2 hours, and there are first meetings that are being booked after 2 months. The difference between the two that I've seen is that if a company is already cold calling, if you already have proven scripts and targeting, results come fast, sometimes day one. Starting from scratch, we're iterating. Figuring out what works takes time. We lean on the existing team. We test multiple hypotheses with your team until something clicks, not just meetings, but deals that close. That's why we're working with companies that already close 20 to 30% of their deals, because we understand their need. When we install senior SDRs with our methodology, we start accelerating pipeline and they keep on closing 20 to 30% of his pipeline into revenue. But if you close at 10% or 5%, then fix it before scaling. That you can have anywhere from 5%, 10% conversion rate, which is very much can be optimized, to 10 to 20%, which is okay, and 20 to 30%, which is good, and anywhere beyond 30% of conversation to meeting booked is very good. It doesn't mean you can't make money with 5 or 10% conversion rate. You absolutely can. You can be ROI positive. You can be making a profit. It's just that inherently in that part of the process, there is probably some optimization that can still be done to squeeze out the next level of performance for your business. When we talk about 10, 20, 30%, it's not about having one salesperson doing that kind of performance because he or she is exceptional at their job. It's about getting the average salesperson to be able to duplicate that result and to basically execute the same way to get the same results, right? Now, what about quality versus quantity? I've met with companies even recently who came to me and they were like, I want 10 meetings a week. I want 15 meetings a week. And I was like, okay, have you done it lately? And they're like, no. It's a little bit like you start working out for the first time in my life and I want a six pack and I want Mr. Olympia body. It just doesn't work that way. You're probably going to go through stages of building muscles and you might build muscles faster than others, but you still need to go through these stages. If you already get 3 meetings per week, you can already be at 12 meetings per month. And if you close even at 10%, that's a deal in, and that deal can be worth 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. You want to make sure they are qualified and they go into your pipeline. A lot of people also measure from first touch to deal closed, and they forget to account for the time to sell. I've worked with companies where we generated hundreds of thousands in pipeline. We've generated 60 plus qualified meetings in less than 3 months with one SDR part-time. And they ended up not being very happy because they expected deals to come in. But the reality is, if your time to sell is 9 months or 12 months, you need to account for the time in terms of outbound. And agencies like mine, we go a lot faster than you building it internally. Internally is 4 months, give or take, to start it from scratch, 2 to 4 months, depending on how fast you move. Externally with an agency, you can get set up in 2 weeks, sometimes even 1 week with mine. So it goes fast to start getting conversations with the market, to start building out that outbound motion. When you start having these meetings, you need to work them, follow up and everything. You should set your expectation even beyond the 9 months of your average time to sell. Start counting maybe after 12 months, after 16 months to see if the program is really working. Also plan your budget accordingly. Make sure that you're not overspending and you have to shut down the program. Make sure that you budget the resources in a way that you can scale later, but sustainable to build up your outbound engine. So again, thank you for watching this video. In recap, be patient. Consistency will pay. You will have the compound effect of the growth for your business, but don't rush on the programs. Don't rush on the timeframes of these programs and just having unrealistic expectations about how fast you're going to close deals and get money in. Of course, faster is better, but it's just not where you want to set your expectation. There's good weeks, there's bad weeks. There's a lot to figure out. B2B software companies who get the best results, in my experience, I've gotten 3 times, 4, 5 times their money invested with us. If that's something you've been interested, there's a link in the description and let's have a chat. Please check the next video because I go in depth into several models. I show you the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can understand how much you stand to make if you start investing today into outbound. Hope that video helped. Have a good day and see you in the next one.